I'm Mandy Schneitman, Supervisor of Student Services for Jefferson County Schools, and also School Safety Mentor and Safety Specialist with through the Department of Education. So I'm going to talk a little bit today in more depth about school safety as you return your students to school, and a little bit more about preparing under this pandemic of COVID-19. First of all, I want to assure you that we are working extremely closely with the Department of Health locally. We worked with the State Department of Health, we've worked with local physicians, we are working with guidance from the State Department of Education, and we are trying to do everything that we can to be sure that children are safe as they return into the buildings, as well as our students and staff back into the building. We have several things in place. We're looking at hygiene, we're looking at health protocols, we're looking at social distancing, and we've already talked a little bit about the mask that Dr. Johnson has mentioned. So I'll just provide a few more updates, but watch for these updates to change frequently depending on the level of risk in our community. We may have fewer restrictions, and we may have greater restrictions. So these will continue to change as we adapt according to what's going on in our schools and our community. So look at our Jefferson County website and our social media sites for the most frequent updates. We will have an additional update coming out this week on our protocols for parents, students, employees, and administrators. So along with the health guidelines, we want to remind you that we will be asking students to self-monitor symptoms if they are age appropriate, or parents, if you would check temperatures before your children get on the buses in the mornings, because we will be doing temperature checks upon point of entries at our schools. We will be looking at that temperature check for giving us guidance for entry. If a student has a temperature over 100.4, then we will be rechecking if that temperature stays up. If they've been in a hot bus, for example, and that temperature is up a little bit, we'll let them cool down. If that temperature remains high, we will be calling parents to come pick up students, not allowing students with temperatures in the general population or those fevers over 100.4. So if you can help us with that before the children leave school, leave home for school, that would be very helpful. Also, we want to just give you a reminder that we are going to be teaching children how to take care of themselves. Again, age appropriately. We want students to learn not to be touching faces, for example. We want them to know that we want them to wash hands frequently, sanitize, and stay clean. We want to teach children who are going to be wearing masks to keep hands off those masks as much as possible. I know that's a little bit hard. It's awkward to have those masks on. And again, we will stop the requirement for masks just as soon as possible as our risk lower in our community. Our administrators have been working with our teachers this past week, talking about what social distancing looks like in their classrooms and in their seating charts, and in the placement of desks, in the hallways, in the cafeterias. So we'll be working with all of the students as they return on teaching them about social distancing. So expect your children to have some conversations about how they're social distancing within the classrooms, and ask them what they're doing in their classes to maintain that. We will social distance to the greatest extent possible. Again, that is not possible on school buses, but we will be taking precautions as our transportation staff will be talking in just a few moments about. We will also be limiting visitors into the school buildings. So if you come in, you will not be in the general population with our students unless you have an appointment for a meeting. Visitors may be asked to wait out in the cars while we are getting a student, for example, to be released for early release, or you might be asked to wait in the designated area. We will be instructing students on specific expectations for that distancing within their buildings as they walk down the hall, as I mentioned, and those cafeterias, and just trying to keep students apart as best we can. Hygiene, again, that hand sanitizer, you can send that to school. You can send water bottles to school. You can remind your child to do that frequent hand washing. We hope that we have put some great protocols in place for classroom safety, for school safety upon entering buildings, for making visitors feel safe as they come into the building, stopping there at the front office. And we, again, will continue to work closely with the Department of Health to update guidelines as needed.